My name is Bill Williams, and I'm the Commercial Sales Director at Proterra Inc. I think the sharing of information as far as EV adoption goes, people have learned by example. I also think that peer influence, not peer pressure, kind of helps people learn about driving electric vehicles, and they see their neighbor with one, and that plus the initiatives and incentives have really driven the market. I think the biggest missing part is education, and that includes the dealerships. There's a lot of potential sales out there, but until it's mainstream, until someone really realizes the benefits in any sales job, and we're all salespeople in this sense of the word, we have to overcome those objections. And they don't see it as mainstream yet, but I think there are a lot of great examples of where they work, the main one being in fleets and the commercial application. And as people see electric buses or electric trucks delivering their orders from Amazon and things like that, those are kind of like rolling billboards, if you will, and it really increases adoption and their awareness of what the electric market can be. The range anxiety, I always found an interesting answer is that the only people with range anxiety are the ones that have never driven an EV. The range anxiety also is overcome by having people, again, learn and evaluate what their true travel is. Many people think that they go 25 or 30 miles to work, let's say, and maybe it's only 14 or 15 miles. And any EV on the market could easily handle that right now. So when they say the example is, how am I going to drive to Las Vegas? Well, how many times have you driven to Las Vegas is my first question. The second point is that at that, you could even rent a car for weekends like that if you had to. But the real pollution and use of vehicles and transportation pollution happens Monday through Friday. So I think we really need to focus on the commuting aspect. And every EV out there is very well over-designed, if you will, to be able to handle commuting right now. It's proven and very not covered in the conversation, but 98% of the charging takes place at home. And that's the key, is that a lot of the incentives and money that's being spent on infrastructure, I think, is more of a placebo. I think it's making people feel comfortable to go that far. But again, only 10 or 20% of our travel is across country or across state. So all of the charging that I've ever done has happened at home. And then on the inverse, with heavy-duty vehicles, you have a fixed route and they return to the same place, home, if you will, every night. So I think the charging at home is really where the emphasis is. People forget to mention that there are 74 million single-family dwellings in the United States. Each one of those has electricity, i.e. a charging station. So infrastructure is not the biggest fear that I think is in front of us. Great question. When we sell a bus, for example, it may have close to 0.5 megawatt of power on it. Those batteries are stackable. We've designed them that way for second life. The other involvement in that bus being charged every day, we have predictable routes, so we've done a route analysis, so we know exactly how much power that route's going to take every day. So the utility should be very involved in us deploying these electric bus fleets. They could also be vehicle to grid and be backup power, if you will, during a disaster or any time where the airport may have been shut down. The buses could still provide power for that airport. I think definitely backup power to load shift the grid. Solar and renewables obviously coming into the forefront, where we almost have too much renewable energy in the middle of the day. That happens in Hawaii and California by far, but in each region there's different scenarios about electricity production. And I think of, instead of having a rolling tank of CNG or diesel, it would be better to have that CNG back at the power generation in a stable place and not be distributed, delivered, and refined, and then pumped from a compressor that also takes energy and maintenance. It's just putting into an EV bus and having the power be as clean as possible. And then through the years, the power is only going to get cleaner. There is a trend, and they want to stay relevant. Not to say this too nastily, but even the utilities need to stay relevant, because as people get more renewable energy on their homes, they're now becoming data managers. So I see utilities finally waking up, and it's a great opportunity for them to be involved in the different aspects of load shifting and providing power to those folks with EV chargers. And then, as we just discussed in one of the panels, the vehicle to grid use, so people can tap into a group of folks when there's possible brownout. They can tap into all those EVs out there that are sitting idle but plugged in at work. So I think that's really the biggest step I see in the future. It's a great question. Autonomy, I find it interesting. It's kind of like what my grandfather said. We're putting our pants on before our underwear. Because, first of all the autonomous vehicles are going to be electric. We need to just accept the fact that electric transportation is the key. Then some of those becoming autonomous would be the way the industry needs to progress.